How to make a zesty quinoa salad.
Today we're going to have some fun. Our lesson is a Food+Fit equals fun recipe. It's called Zesty Quinoa Salad. The first thing I should explain to you is quinoa is a whole grain. When we start out, quinoa is dry. It looks like little seeds. That is the first recipe, the first ingredient. We have a quarter cup of canola or olive oil, the juice of 2 limes. We have a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of red pepper, or you can leave out the red pepper if you're sensitive, and 2 teaspoons of cumin. We also have a 15-ounce can of black beans, low sodium preferred, low salt, which we will drain together. And we have scallions, 5 scallions or green onions. This is what they look like before they've been cut. And cilantro, if you like cilantro, and cherry tomatoes. This is 1.5 cups of cherry tomatoes. So the first thing we do, very important to know, is with your quinoa, you will always rinse it. This, just give it a nice rinse, clean it up and drain it. And then in the pot, very simply, 2 cups of water and your quinoa. You'll bring this to a boil, cover it. You'll bring this to a boil and then you'll bring it down to a low simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes until the water has evaporated. Let it sit there maybe with the flame turned off another 5 minutes. It becomes light and fluffy like rice does. And while this is cooking, the fun part begins. You do all your chopping. The first thing you do, in any order you prefer, go ahead and chop your green onions. Here they are already done. My cherry tomatoes I just cut in half. Cilantro is the very last thing to go in. Your limes, to squeeze a lime, you can either use, if you have, a lemon or lime press, or if you do not have one, you can take your lime and put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds to soften it. Cut it in half. You can take a fork and just sort of twist it to get all your juice out. Okay, so we've already pre-made our lime juice here. By the way, if you do use one of these presses, it's important to know it does not go in this way. You turn your fruit upside down and you go ahead and get all your juice out. So another thing we must do is to drain our beans. And the reason we want to drain them is they're full of liquid that's we don't need in the recipe. We want to just clean the beans. Again, there's no salt, no sodium in here. Clean them, drain them, just like that. Voila. So, believe it or not, 10 or 15 minutes have gone by and our quinoa is finished. If you recall, when it started out, it was a little seed, dry, and it was 1 cup. It has basically tripled in size. It's light and fluffy like rice. It is full of protein and fiber. Actually 8 grams of protein in 1 serving and 5 grams of fiber in 1 serving. This is a tremendous superfood. So the very next step, all our ingredients. I'm going to choose to use the jar. We'll go ahead and take our lime juice, I always love to pre-measure everything. It just makes cooking so much easier. This is our oil. It can be canola, olive oil. If you have another oil of your choice, that's fine. Our red pepper flakes, our cumin, our salt, That's about it. Go ahead and give it a good shake. Go ahead and do a little physical activity while you're shaking. It's great to have some music on while you're cooking and enjoy yourself. And then you will go ahead and take all these other ingredients, just assemble everything. Those were our beans. Here are our onions. Here are our tomatoes. And shake it one more time. Go ahead and pour everything on it. My entire family loves this recipe. We have brought it to friends. People have asked me for it. I do not know one person who does not love this recipe. You can eat it right away. Again, if you prefer, make it a day ahead of time. And the flavors even have a little bit longer to intensify and are just so super delicious. But speaking of eating a rainbow on your plate, look at all the colors that are in this meal. You have protein, you have fiber, you have grains. It can be a complete meal. It can be its side dish, whatever you prefer. And the nutrition that is inside of this dish is unbelievable. One serving size is 1/6. That makes a lot of food right there. 270 calories, 8 grams of protein, 11.6 grams of fat, 1.4 grams of saturated fat, which we have lessons on fat in Food+Fit equals fun, and protein and fiber, etc. So we can really teach you more about those in our other classes. Carbohydrates, fiber, sodium, all a very beautiful and acceptable dish. And the recipe, so you can take a quick look at it, it's right here. Great news is we have a Facebook page that we would love for you to join, and the recipe will be on that Facebook page right here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. The Facebook page is www.facebook.com/groups/NCJW Dallas FFF. And enjoy your dish. Hope to see you again.